Darian, good morning. I know you've told us about this game in the past month or so, but now that it's here, now that you're in scouting meetings, looking at former teammates, are there any different emotions or different feelings that come up going into this game?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a little bit weird, going over there, my old team. But once the ball snapped, ball is ball, and I'm sure Coach Summerall's gonna have him coached up, and I think it's gonna be a great big time matchup.
How much have you talked to Coach Manny, Coach Brewer, teammates about the emotions that you'll be feeling on Saturday, or do you even need to talk to them about those things?
I think Coach Manny is very in tune with emotions and your mental, and so obviously, just stating the obvious that this is these are all my old teammates, and it is gonna feel a little bit weird going over there. But other than that, I'm trying not to make it bigger than what it is. It's just like I said, once the ball snapped, then it's just gonna be ball. So.
Go ahead, Jim.
Oh yeah, hey, good morning, Darian. I want to ask you about Andre Anthony. You're talking about a guy coming off serious injury. He didn't show up until the summer. Probably didn't know quite what to expect from him, and now he's become one of the offense's go-to guys, one of your go-to guys. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys have become to be so in tune and just how you've seen him develop into the weapon he's become?
Yeah, what's crazy is he wasn't, the one of our go-to guys in the summer. But he just kept his head down and kept working. And the biggest thing was just the communication part for me and him. Just on certain routes where he needs to be and the steps and all that. And he's just, been so locked in on that and just grinding and put his head down. And so I think, the work that he's put in it has showed, his last two games, and I think that'll continue to show.
On the toe tap play, what were you seeing? Was this one of the things where you're giving your guy a chance to make a play?
Yeah, absolutely. Calling that play, primarily for man, but that crosser can get open if they let it. And so, trying to get some points at the half, throwing it where my guy can get it or nobody else. And he made a spectacular play, one of the best catches I've ever seen. So, but yeah, like I said, continue to expect that from him.
And I hate to ask a negative question, but turnovers have been an issue. What's going wrong there, and how do you get that fixed?
Yeah, I'm just my urgency's got to improve. I feel like, I'm too linear, when I'm trying to get out of the pocket. I just got to get north and south and get down. A lot of those turnovers are all on me, and I take full responsibility and accountability for that. But football is all about, the next play, and so I just got to, drill it in practice and make sure I get that cleaned up.
Yeah, thanks.
Go ahead, Richie.
Hey, Darian, it's Richie from WGNO in New Orleans. But just quick questions for you. How would you describe your Tulane experience, and what might have been the most difficult part of leaving that program to go to Duke?
Yeah, Tulane was awesome. A lot of fun over there in New Orleans. I think, what makes that place special is those coaches over there. They really care about, their players and how they're doing. So I'd say that's the hardest part is leaving those relationships behind. But, Tulane was great to me. They gave me opportunity, to be where I'm at right now, and I'm extremely grateful for those guys. And like I said, Coach Summerall's a phenomenal head coach, and I'm excited to go, play him this week.
How would you just describe your relationship with Coach Summerall, even through the whole transfer portal process?
Yeah, it's been pretty positive. I saw him at a wedding. I was at Coach D'Angelo's wedding over the summer. And so, he showed some love to me. He understood. And so, it was good to see him. He's, definitely one of my favorite coaches of all time. He's an animal. So, like I said, I'm super excited to go see him this weekend.
And lastly, you've been a fan favorite at Yulman Stadium. What do you think it's going to be like being on the opposing sideline Saturday night?
Yeah, I'll probably be the opposite of a fan favorite this week. But yeah, Yeoman got a lot of great memories in Yeoman. Definitely gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a little bit weird being on the opposite sideline. But yeah, I'm excited for this matchup this week.
Go ahead, Scott.
All right, so ask you a similar question to what I just asked Josiah. Playing on the road for the first time this season in a Duke uniform, what are some of the things that you enjoy the most about being on the road? And then what are the things you look forward to playing road games? And in this situation, going down there to Tulane as a road dog, what are some of the things that you kind of look forward to in that situation?
Yeah, I just, I look forward to that crowd and that noise. That's the stuff that I live for, and that gets me going. I'd say that, and just I feel like when you go into somebody else's stadium and take what's theirs, I feel like is something that can't be replicated. And so, those are two of my favorite things about going on the road for sure.
And Connor, we'll go to you for the final question.
Darian, kind of follow up on that is, can it be a good thing for a team coming off a loss to go on the road and kind of further bond together and get rid of some of the distractions that might be around a home game?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we've got a pretty bad taste in our mouth from how we played last week. It definitely wasn't our cleanest game, and so just using that as motivation for this week, it will be huge for us for sure.